Hi, my name is Johnny Wu. Today I'll be talking about the origin of coronavirus. And this is my note. This is my visual aid, little visual aid. Have you ever wondered where the mysterious, notorious coronavirus came from, or where it originates? Or have you already had family members or friends that have experienced the impact of coronavirus, and have they gotten it? Today, I'm here to talk about the mysterious origin of coronavirus and how it transforms our life into a quarantine. World Health Organization states that coronavirus is an infectious disease caused by a family of diseases. And I'm a college student who conducts studies and research specifically on COVID-19 and coronaviruses. First, allow me to introduce the history of coronavirus and the problem it causes us. Second, we'll be getting into the symptoms and the ways of spreading. Lastly, we'll be talking about prevention, how to keep you guys safe. Now that I've given you the brief timeline of my speech, let's dive right into the history. Coronavirus is the family of diseases that caused by the blend of viruses from the bats. Because bats are perfect host for viruses simply because their natural resistance towards viruses, which causes the SARS, the MERS, and the coronavirus, which is actually specifically COVID-19. Well, by the article written by WebMD states that coronavirus have a history of causing pandemic. The very first case are introduced by the article written by Health Science Alert, which is the SARS in 2003. It invaded southern China and all the way to the entire East Asia. Then we'll have MERS in 2012. It was the camels that got infected by the feces of the bats, which brings them back all the way to Saudi Arabia and causing a big pandemic and problems and death. And then we'll get into the Chinese wet market. That's where the problem comes from. The article written by the investigator, Peter Beach, states that what he saw was blending of raw meat, illegal species of raw meat blending together, which creates a perfect place for viruses to grow. And also, according to the CNN investigator who personally visited the wet market after isolating himself for 14 days when visiting China, states that the sanitizing condition is not as good as they are announced. Even though they have to follow the safety protocols and the sanitizing protocols, the crowded area just simply cannot be completely sanitized. And their AC unit is specifically causing very high heat and very high humidity, which promotes the growth of bacteria and viruses, and that cause the coronavirus to come. The family of coronavirus have showed us how dangerous they can be. So let's dive into the symptoms and the ways of spreading. The coronavirus can be highly infectious if people are not being careful. According to CDC, there are different severities when it comes to coronavirus. The most common one will be fever, cough, and fatigue, which can be mistaken by common colds. That's how people cannot realize that they have gotten coronavirus unless they have more severe cases such as respiratory disease, pneumonia, or even death. That's when people actually realize they got coronavirus. Also, according to the CDC hospitalization chart, the statistics shows that compared to the age of 18 to 29 group, any age above that has twice amount of chances to get coronavirus. And as they grow, by every 10 years, it doubles. So by the time you're at the age of 65, your chance of getting coronavirus will be 7 times compared to the 18 to 29 group. Now let's get into the different method of spreading. According to the article written by the Mayo Clinics, the coronavirus is spreading by droplets of saliva from the infected human, especially when you're doing the human interaction. And WHO warns us that even though coronavirus can mainly spread through human interaction, it can also spread through secondary interactions, such as you closing yourself in the indoor environment with surfaces that's unsanitized. And it also shows that you have double amount of chances of getting coronavirus when you interact with an infected person in an indoor environment as when you interact with them in an outdoor setting. The following symptoms and the ways of spreading has showed us that there are ways to identify people that has coronavirus, and there are ways to avoid or lower your chance of getting coronavirus. So now let's dig into the prevention, and that's what's gonna keep you guys safe. Even though coronavirus is highly infectious, if you can be careful, there are ways to prevent it. The first hand prevention, which is the primary one, according to the Healthline articles, is often more frequently washing your hand. Washing your hands is very important because our hand touches everything. And that gets us into the second point, which is avoiding using your hand over your face. Don't touch your face with your hand unless you make sure that you sanitize your hand and washed it, because our face is very delicate. We have a mouth, we have a nostril, we have an eye membrane that are very thin, and lack of white blood cells that protects the diseases from entering our body, which causes the coronavirus can just invade into our body. And definitely properly sanitize the area that you're in. Also, the articles written by the Healthline article has states that there are also different ways of reducing, especially secondary ways of reducing the chance of getting coronavirus. Very big one, avoid unnecessary human interaction, such as partying, clubbing, and very big gathering with friends. I know everybody does that because it's fun and you miss your friends, but please, that's what's keeping us safe. That's what's keeping the viruses spreading slow and steady until they die down. And also, the ABC News have explained that practicing self-isolation can help reducing the speed of spreading and also keep us safe from getting viruses. I want everybody to be safe here. So yeah. And today, I'll talk about the ways the viruses can spread, how it causes a problem, the history of viruses, and how to prevent it. Personally, I've gotten coronaviruses before, and it's very tiring. Your friends, your family are afraid of you. Nobody trusts you, and they avoid you. You feel lonely. I don't want you to feel that. That's why after today's speech, you will understand that coronavirus is very dangerous and you want to prevent it. Thank you.